So I'm sitting out here on my patio next to the pool, reading my Bible, and I've been reading the Proverbs, like one chapter per day, which I do quite often, and I follow the days of the week, like the date. So today's the 11th, and so I'm reading Proverbs 11, and the very first verse was interesting to me. It says, and this is the Passion Translation, which is kind of like a today's language, which I love it. It says, to set high standards for someone else and then not live up to them yourself is something that God truly hates. Next page, hold on. And yes, I licked my finger. But it pleases him when we apply the right standards of measurement. And then I was looking down, there's a little footnote. It's about the right standards of measurement. The footnote says, the Hebrew phrase literally means a perfect stone, because this was written in Hebrew originally. So the translation, the Hebrew phrase literally means a perfect stone. Stones were used as legitimate weights of balance. Jesus is the perfect stone, because if you refer to Revelations, it says Jesus is the perfect stone. He is the perfect standard of measurement, the perfect right standard of measurement. So how is that? How does that work? What this made me think of was about setting high standards for someone else. The Hebrew phrase literally means scales of deception, false balances. So to set these scales for someone else and then not live up to them yourself is something God truly hates. You know, it's kind of like hypocrisy, right? I was just thinking about it and thinking, like, a lot of people talked about hypocrisy a little bit with my daughter, and I was just saying what I thought. Person who's being hypocritical isn't necessarily being hypocritical, like they're not purposely trying to live a different life than what they're telling other people they should live. They just, either they don't know they're doing it or they don't know how not to. You know, it's like when you know you have a moral standard but you're not living up to it, then you have a lack of integrity in your life, and that's where a lot of peace is missing. That's where you become, when you're out of sync with what you really believe in your heart, you're not living that life that you believe you're meant to live, or you're meant to walk in, then you get a little bit out of whack. There's anxiety, there's fear, there's sickness, there's all kinds of stuff as a result. When you can line up yourself, line up your heart with the truth of what you believe, the truth of what you know, what you really want, that's the right standard of measurement. However, I don't know that it's attainable in our own works. And when we think we're attaining something because of our good hard work and we're obtaining like this righteousness, it's not enough. It's never enough. We can never make it right ourselves. That's where the perfect standard of measurement comes in. The perfect stone. Jesus is the perfect stone, and he made everything possible for us to have full righteousness, to have integrity, to walk in it. So he's the right standard of measurement. And how do I not create some other standard for someone? The thing that God hates, not be able to follow it myself. Because the truth is that I know Jesus is my He is my standard. He's the one who has made a way for me so I can have empathy for someone who doesn't know the Lord, who doesn't know this. I can have empathy for their mistakes. I can have compassion for people who haven't come to understand that Jesus made a way for them. Like, that's the whole difference. Like, a lot of religious people who think they can do things in their own strength, maybe they don't know that's what they're doing, but they put these hard standards on other people. And also you have a lot of Christians have a lot of backlash from those people in religious organizations, I guess you could say, who are like, they're trying to stand strong for the truth, stand up for the truth and speak out against sin and speak out against unrighteousness and bad living, and you have this whole divisive thing going on. And I just don't enter into that. I mean, maybe I do get caught up in it every once in a while when I'm not really keep staying aware of my heart. But it's not, the truth can stand on its own. The truth is the light that shines in the darkness. Like, I don't have to necessarily think that my battle of putting the truth out there is the most important thing. What I need is the truth in my life. That's the most important thing. And that's the light of Jesus. So like, if I am having that perfect stone, that perfect measurement of standard affecting me and my heart and my life, I suddenly realize all that he has saved me from, all that he has rescued me out of, everything that he's done to cover my sin and my shame, and where I've tripped up and fallen, and where my heart has been wrong, and where I haven't loved people, and I haven't walked in his grace, even towards others. Like, that's when I allow him and I allow that revelation to impact me, I suddenly have all the empathy and all the compassion for others, and especially for those who don't know. They haven't had the light of truth just come and pierce through, break them free from, being trapped in fear, being trapped in anxiety, being trapped in a life of just heartache and sorrow and brokenness. Deception. I don't hate people that think differently than me, or are searching, maybe exploring, maybe involved in things that are probably not going to be helpful for their life in the long run. I just want to love those people. And I saw how Jesus, when I read about how he walked on this earth and how he just touched lives. He had so much compassion for the broken and the oppressed. And he didn't necessarily wave some kind of magic wand and make everyone everywhere fall into what he was saying. He let people decide for themselves, and there were many who opposed everything he was doing, and he, especially religious leaders, opposed him because he was setting the oppressed free, and they were being oppressed by these standards, these wrong measurements. That's what got me. Was that I can never memorize it. The high standards that were being set up for others, but they weren't living up to them themselves. God hates that. So that's my word for the day.